Then why is this verse coming 6
Okay,
times
we're back.
Don't freestyle
Man, that was
when
a
I
good
write 'em.
first hour. If you didn't listen to us in the first 45 minutes, you missed a really good show. Go back and check it out. We were talking about R. Kelly, Mr. Svengali himself, but we are joined by D. Coulter, money manager, mega production. A lot of people ask me about D now. D has a show that she does on Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And she talks about all kinds of different topics having to deal with just the black community.
Yeah.
Basically, the black community. Mm-hmm. Now, Dee comes from a long line of black agitators. I'm just joking. No. But, kind of like Tupac, she was born you weren't born a black Muslim, were you?
Yeah, raised in the Nation of Islam.
Yeah, raised in the Nation of Islam. So, so when we're talking about right on, we're dealing with the right on right here.
Right on.
But
you know what? I am militant, but I am one of the nicest people you know.
Yes.
I feel like I need to say this a lot to people because I've often been accused of hating white people. But if you've ever watched my show,
yes, on social media, they be trying to tear you up.
Heard me say anything bad about white people? I'm always about the betterment and upliftment
of the community
of black people.
Right, and being a black woman. Mm-hmm. Of course, you got to take care of home first before you worry about anybody else.
It'd be a waste of time for me to be white people this, and I hate white. I don't hate white people. I got white people in my family. So it's not about me hating white people. It's about me loving black people.
Loving black people.
Right.
And, again, we have a lot of problems in our situation. We've, unfortunately, over a couple hundred years now, we've relied on the white man to solve our problem. Yes. The cavalry isn't coming, y'all.
Well, and I don't want to say we've relied on them because it's just all we've known. You figure 500 years of being in America, being brutalized and everything else you can think of. So here we are, where we have been dependent on other people. And I don't want to get off topic.
No, go ahead.
But a lot of people, especially in the black community, and I'll explain this to a lot of white people, and then they say they get it. Black people see $1.3 trillion a year collectively in America, enough money to make up the 11th wealthiest country in the world.
Yes.
But we give 97% of that away. So
and produce.
I mean, we're not producers. We don't produce much. We are known as consumers. We keep everybody else rich. Now, but after slavery and the Jim Crow era, black people were very productive.
Yes.
Black Wall Street, Rosewood, and all these other black communities that were thriving, they were non-dependent on anybody else. And then you had a lot of nonsense, and I'll just keep it real, from white people who did not like to see black people being productive and coming up, went in there and destroyed
the town.
So here we are. So it's no secret that what black people have gone through from the time of the Middle Passage until now has been systemic and institutional racism. Everywhere you turn, black people have had a foot on their neck. Mm-hmm. We try to come up, like I said, in Black Wall Street in the 1920s and all that. During the time where they said during the Jim Crow era, 3,000 to 4,000 black people were lynched. Mm-hmm. Just when I say lynched, not by the murdered by the police like they're being now. I'm talking about Klansmen. Just people just felt like, hey, I saw him looking at a white woman, so we're gonna lynch him. We're not just talking about men. We're talking about kids. Mm-hmm. We're talking about women. 3,000 to 4,000 people were murdered, lynched out of jealousy and hate because once slavery ended, white people weren't making money off of black people, and black people were really in a pickle. It's like, slavery's over. You can either come back here for survival, which they're going to treat you bad.
Right.
But at least you'll have a place to stay. Or you can get out there on your own. Listen, if I start a business as a black person, ain't no white person going to come patronize me. So I got to sell to my people. Mm-hmm. And so that's what ended up happening. But the white people are like, oh, hell no. I'm not getting the benefit off of that. You guys are keeping the money all over there. And so here we are. So, and then we get back to knowledge of self, and the skin I'm in.
Sure.
Before we made the Middle Passage from Africa, and a lot of people argue, well, there's black people in America before. That's true indeed, but we're talking about the institution of slavery. We were robbed of a knowledge of self. Mm-hmm. We're the
only race that was actually stripped. Everybody else that came here, they got to keep their culture and everything.
Right, and so we were robbed of everything. Knowledge of self. We don't know who we are. And there's a lot of us, Minister Elijah Muhammad says that regarding black people, he said, he's, no longer here, But you can go to the cemetery and get more life out of the dead than you can black people. Now, it wasn't always that way. But over time of being conditioned and brutalized and just everything taken away from you, you're dead because you don't know who you are. You have to be dead to give away 97% of your income to every other race. People who are coming to your community will treat you bad, sell you rotten food, and then when you try to go complain, they won't give it back to you. Right. But yet they'll keep coming back and you keep giving them your money.
Right.
You have to be dead.
A good example, recently a Australian lady was shot in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Oh, yes.
And she was shot by he
was a Muslim.
A Muslim.
Yes.
A guy named Muhammad. He had been on the police force for, I think they said 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. 2 years. Now, look at the outrage that has prevailed.
But this, you know what? Forgive me, because I know somebody will probably watch this and say I'm racist, but I would just like to throw the ball back into your court. Well, we don't know what happened. We didn't see the whole video. Well, maybe she wasn't complying.
Right.
Well, we need to.
She was in yoga pants.
Yeah, the yoga pants was probably deadly. Well, if she would have just listened.
It's nothing to laugh at, but I'm just saying.
That's what they say. I mean, we've seen blatant examples of black people
being shot down.
Did you see the one with the man who was complaining a dog?
Yes.
Was biting his arm, and while the dog was mauling the guy's arm, the other police officer came and tied his feet up. Yeah. It's like, where am I going? And of course I'm going to move because this dog is biting the crap out of me. But yet, if you go on to the comments on social media, you'll see plenty of white people saying, well, we don't know what he did. What if he did something? And so the guy who actually took the video showed the other half of the guy wasn't doing anything. So it's like there's all this justification when it's black life being, murdered.
Snuffed out. Exactly. Let's just say it. Snuffed
but it's
out.
All this we don't know what happened. Well, the police are here to protect and serve. Blue lives matter. And all this other stuff. But to your point, here's this white woman. And I'm not saying she should be dead because nobody should be dead when it comes to police intervention. Now all of a sudden, it's like, I think it was Sean King who said it was Mira Neuro something. Where now I can sympathize because if the person looks like me.
Right. And
so, oh my gosh, I'm outraged. This hoodlum, he should be trained because she's white. But we saw a black lady, on a video in a store where the cop took a metal baton to this lady and beat the crap out of her.
Right.
But yet, we don't know what she was doing.
But doesn't that also show the fact of how the cops are in fear of the neighborhoods they're supposed to protect? If you're afraid to go into this neighborhood, you shouldn't be a cop. You shouldn't be coming to this neighborhood.
Right. But see, this is what happens when you give 97% of your income away. You have lost the ability to control your neighborhood as far as policing, politics, and any of that kind of stuff. Hell, me and you have been in the political game for a while.
Yes.
You longer than me. You're well versed. But we know who shows up and who don't show up to the polls. Okay, I get you don't want to vote for the president, but why won't you come vote for a city council member who is going to have direct control over your life?
Here's something I found out just last week. Do you know that by not having a member of your race on your city council affects how tickets and how the city issues policing in your neighborhood? And what I mean by that is when the city has a shortfall, they know they can go to the black community and get infractions and court fees and stuff that goes into the general fund that they can use to uplift because the black community can't defend itself.
And they can't, more than likely, they can't pay for those infractions.
Right,
so
and which goes up more.
It goes up more. They can't pay it, and they end up going to jail, which fuels the bodies because the private prison system has guaranteed their investors a 90% occupancy rate. That means 90% of bodies will be in these prisons.
Yes.
So if I got to go to your black community, write you a ticket, I know you're not going to be able to pay for it. Well, guess what? It's now $2,000.
Right.
You can't pay it. You're going to go to jail. And then when you're in there, you might do an OJ, be masturbating, and then we can write you up and keep you in here.
See, and I know there's a lot of people that are going to say, oh, well, no, that's not true. The reason why they don't go to the white neighborhoods or the affluent neighborhoods is, guess why?
They'll vote their ass out.
No, it's not even that. Guess who lives in the white affluent neighborhood? The judges, the police, and these are people that can complain and do something about it.
I've always said this, because I drive through various neighborhoods as you do too. You drive to what we call the hood on any given day, you're going to see what? pawn shops.
Yes, liquor stores,
smoke shops,
right?
Weed shops,
check cashing places.
Up the yin.
Yeah,
You're gonna see it. I mean, sometimes it is 2 pawn shops on a block.
Competing.
And I always say this, you know how your city council feels about you by the stuff they allow to come in your neighborhood.
Right. But
how many hell, we ain't got no money in the hood. How many checking and cashes do we need?
Right. But, you know, for all those women out there that listen to the show, you know, what we're trying to do is give you some knowledge. And you've got to instill this in your children. If you don't have representation on that council, you're now a victim.
Right. What do you, I mean,
because if you have a brother up there and you complain to that brother, notice that your tickets are going to be a little in the neighborhood.
He may sympathize with you.
And he's going to hold the police chief accountable.
Right. And you know what? Some people are going to say, well, you know, because he's black, he's going to let people off. Hell yeah. You know what? Right. Hell yeah, because that's what white people do.
True.
Asians do it.
But he's going to hold the police chief in that thing more accountable to where the numbers have to jive.
Or you're not just going to be sending people up the river for stupid stuff.
Right.
That's normally a slap on the wrist.
Unless you're Victoria Baca in Moreno Valley, where you just don't give a damn about your people and you just exploit them. So,
but you know, to loving the skin I'm in, if you don't know what is going on within the communities that you live in, any and everything is going to happen to you. When you're uneducated and unmotivated, you don't care what goes on to you until it happens to you. Then you want to alert everybody, oh, this is not happening to me. Okay, let me ask you this. When the city council came up for, members came up for a vote, did you go vote?
No.
Well, I didn't even know they was. What about the judges? The sheriffs?
I was watching Paternity, no.
Well, why are you complaining?
See, and that's another thing. A lot of people don't know that. The sheriff in some counties are elected.
Absolutely.
And judges are elected. So if you want favorable treatment, you need to start voting and electing people. And I say this all the time, D. Local level. I say it all the time. That's what matters.
But no, people. Okay, let's talk about the last election that you guys had here.
Okay.
In that district, it was what, 40,000 people?
43,000 people.
How many people showed up to vote?
600.
Not 600,000.
No, 600.
Not 6,000.
600, so under 700.
Okay, so that's not even what you. I'm not a mathematician. So what percentage of that out of 43,000 people is that?
That is less than 1%, 0.8% of the people who are eligible to vote voted.
There you go. 600 people out of 43,000 people voted, and from what I understand, there's quite a few black people who live in that district.
Yes.
So now you've got a city council that does not have any black representation at all. There's probably no one on there who will serve your interests because they don't have to. Out
of 5 districts, or the 4 districts in Moreno Valley, that is the one district that should have been represented by a African American black person. Because they have, most of the blacks live in that area. And
so out of 600 people, how many do you think were black people?
Out of that 600, I'd probably say 120.
That's a damn shame.
120.
That really is.
I can get you a definite number. I have a program that.
But I believe you. It's probably, and honestly, it was probably lower than
lower than that. Yeah, I'm being generous.
So how can you love the skin you're in and love yourself when you won't even take interest in the things that directly affect you? You know what I mean? You don't care. You just, and I'll give a perfect example. They called, during the Mike Brown case, they found statistically speaking that all of the city council people, I think it's 7 of them, were white. And the city, what is it, 90% African American?
Yes.
That's a plantation.
Yeah.
That is a plantation. You have all mostly white police officers.
Yes.
You have a whole white city council. Judges are probably all white. You have predominantly black people. That is the perfect example of a plantation. But in this case, the people on the plantation have the power to go. You have a monopoly on the city, and you allow you allow a plantation.
That's because, in my opinion, stay in the hood is where I'm from. I'm representing the hood and da 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 da. I've never heard of such lunacy.
Or how about when me and you, because I'll be honest with you guys, I will never vote in another presidential election again.
There's no point.
There's no point.
Yeah, there's no point in doing it.
Locally, yes. But when me and you were out there registering, we registered 6 people probably that whole day. You had people, when you said come register to vote, I don't vote.
They were fighting you. They were ready to fight you.
Street parade, and I don't vote.
Yep. They were ready to fight you.
But you'll be the first person to complain, oh, shit. Oh, I'm sorry. Shoot. No, my Obamacare is getting cut off.
And you know what? Donald Trump is going to make the hood great again, because when the recommendations that he put out to cut the food stamps and all that other stuff, black women and people on assistance lost their minds.
Well, and to be all fair,
statistically,
oh Lord, there you go. Speaking, there are more white people on welfare, obviously, because there are more white people. I mean,
of course.
Black people make up 13% of the population, which it didn't used to be that way.
No, black people make up 13% of the population.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but it used to be higher.
Yeah.
So, yeah, obviously.
And why is it not higher? Because we're killing each other.
And we're killing our babies.
We're killing our babies.
Yes.
15% of all men, or 25% of all men are in jail. Mm-hmm. And another 15% of men are gay or down low. So we're not procreating enough where we're just breaking even.
But again, just going back into history, that was all by design.
Yes.
Eugenics.
Yes.
Look up eugenics program and find out who the target of that was. It was people of color and poor people.
Yes. So let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're talking about making the hood great again and stuff like that. These women are losing their minds, but yet I see them with weaves in their hair. I see them with tattoos all over their body. And I'm sorry, there's nothing attractive about a woman. You could have a tattoo. Dee has a tattoo, but you don't see it.
I have 3, but you'll never see
you'll
them
never
unless
see
I
them.
show them to you.
Yeah, and I'm sure Al could tell us where a few of them are. But anyway, but that's how it's supposed to be, But these women are just tattooing themselves, and what kills me is these young moms are allowing their kids to be unemployable.
Yes.
Tattoos on your face? Young girls are doing that.
I don't understand the whole tattoo on your face thing. I mean, I feel like tattoos all over ruin a great dress.
It does.
I don't see the dress anymore. Most of these people have tattoos up and down their legs and stuff. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, even the military had a problem with the tattoos, and now they've kind of controlled it. But when you put a tattoo on your face, you can't even go in the military now. I mean, it's just, You're.
But think about this though. You can put a tattoo, and I'm not saying this is just for black people. This is for anybody who's put tattoos on their face. They probably watched their moms or dads and stuff get through life not having to work. I don't know how they're getting the money, but they're getting by, and so they've been under the false, ideology of, I can go around looking any old kind.
Well, guess what? The Trump and the budget and all that other stuff, they are putting it into a situation. Okay, I know people are going to be mad that I'm saying this. Mm-hmm. Okay, if this Republican agenda goes through, and Hillary would have been no better.
I agree with you.
Okay, she would have been no better. Mm-hmm. It's one ruling party, the ruling party, not Democrat, not Republican. Right. Both parties exploit black people because we are the common denominator to keep the economy going.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you don't now I'm not no rocket science, and I know that.
Right.
So I'm an independent. Every person, in my opinion, should be an independent. Black person especially, because they sell us out. What you don't understand is, and I know people get mad when I say this, when this budget, if this ever gets enacted, which it's going to do eventually, sooner or later, it's just a matter. It's a matter of time because they're tired. They're throwing money at it, and it's not. We're not getting any better. So they're going to say, you know what? Leave those Negroes to their own devices or whatever.
I honestly hope that happens.
I do too.
Because and Minister Louis Farrakhan says that he thinks not that Trump is a great person, because we know that
we're survivors. But go ahead.
But he says a Trump presidency is probably
the
what black
best
people need to wake us up.
Because
when everything is cut off, we're going to go back to surviving
self. Self, exactly. That's what I think.
Right, and we're going to have no choice. What
no
we
choice.
Need to be doing, everybody else does it unapologetically. Every other race does for
Sink
itself.
Or swim.
Right.
Sink or swim. And here's the thing, I know people are going to be mad at, but this is what a lot of guys are talking about, and you ladies probably even heard about that. When that does take effect, pussy is going to be at a premium. They're going to be selling pussy bargain basement prices just to survive. And the reason I'm saying pussy and stuff is to show you how desperate the situation is going to be.
Well, it's either you're going to sink or you're going to swim. It's a do or die at this point. Now, if that's your means,
and women are already doing it right now.
They're already doing it, but if that's your means, then more power. I'm not going to judge you. But at some point in time, we have to dig, because I don't care what nobody say. Black people are the most resourceful and most resilient people on planet Earth.
Absolutely.
We have just been beaten down so much to where we don't believe or have knowledge of self. But the minute we wake up and we realize that, it's over.
It's over, exactly. And honestly, I believe Trump's going to, like I said, cut everything. Cut everything. Because we're going to have to survive.
Yep.
And either we're going to sink or swim as a people. And if we sink, then so be it. But I honestly believe we're not.
We're not. Again, you go back to Jim Crow. I mean, that was the worst time. You walk across the street if you want to and see if you didn't get lynched. You know what I mean? So we survived then.
Right.
We survived because we had nobody else but each other. We bought flour from each other and, blacksmith, whatever from me. We did that with each other because we didn't have a choice. In the worst time, I believe it's getting worse for black people now, but during the worst time in history for black people, other than slavery, was Jim Crow.
Yes.
And we survived.
But I think one of the biggest problems in our community is the removal of the father from the home.
Absolutely.
And you've got these women raising these feminist men. And when I mean feminist, not that they fight for women. These are the feminized men.
Feminized.
And these young men, because they can't work, they can't do anything. I just installed a bidet in my bathroom, and I taught my nephew how to do it. He wants to be an engineer when he grows up, doing something he wants to do, but I'm making sure he works with the hands. When you're a single mom, and I don't even understand this, if you're on the county and you're sitting at home all day, shouldn't you be teaching them something?
Listen, I've had this conversation with a plethora of people. These women are, in this generation, they don't think like that. Like, you're a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
Your children should be the most advanced person on the planet.
Or you as a person should be one of the most educated people in the community.
Right. But
you got all these programs that are available, and they're cutting them now.
Stay-at-home moms are not what they used to be.
Man.
But stay-at-home moms were up, at 5 in the morning, at 8 o'clock, everybody had their stuff ready to go. She done cook, clean, and the whole nine.
Right.
I got mamas getting up at 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right. My mom's a widowed mother. She was put in a position where she had to provide for me and my brother. But 70% of black women are not married. And I think that is a stupid statistic. It's a true statistic.
Well, and it's true, but
it's stupid.
It's stupid and it's true. However, there's a little bit more to the 70% of black women not being married. Now, while they are not married, that doesn't mean that they're maybe they're not married, but in a lot of cases they are living with the kid's father and stuff like that. So it's not like 70% of women are single and on their own. There's just more.
Right? No. I understand. I understand that. But what I'm saying is the stigma that marriage isn't good. There's benefits to being married.
Oh, absolutely.
And why black women are buying into, I get my own. It's not a competition. 1 + 1 = 2.
Right. Well, my last show last week we talked about feminism, and
I'm trying to get Dee to put when she does her show to put this show and plug this show in so that we can hear this knowledge.
But yeah, I broke it down as far as the numbers in feminism, where it came from, and all that, and black feminists, and somehow black women were, and I'll say lured and tricked into thinking that the white woman, and Frances Cress Wells, in the ISIS paper, she talks about this. So this is not
the white woman's struggle is not the black woman's struggle. But
right. And Shahrazad Ali, they talk about that, how black women
loved her book, by the way.
I know you did. You're waiting for part 2 to come out.
Yes, I've been waiting for 20 years.
But they talk about how the black woman got lured into thinking that the white woman's fight was hers.
Her fight, and it's not.
The white woman was trying to get
away from the white man.
Of her man.
White man, right.
The black woman and the black man didn't have those issues.
Right.
But somehow she's like, sister, come fight with me.
Yes.
And that whole thing, black people were already having a struggle.
We always fight for everybody else but ourselves.
Right. But, okay, so now white women, and all this I study, white women, the white feminists are mad or they have an issue with black feminists because the black feminists have labeled them white feminists or white feminism, which means that they only go after the interests of white women.
Right.
And so you think about it. Anytime you've seen, for instance, there's a black woman who was beat damn near to death with a police metal baton. Yeah. Where is the feminism? Where is now? Where's all these people now saying that was wrong? We are, speaking out against police brutality because she's a woman. I don't give a damn about no black women.
Exactly.
But black women have fell into that. To your point, I'm independent. I don't need. Yes, you do. We do need men. You can. I don't even know what, as Shahrazad Ali said. What does you know, you
good
have
punch in the mouth. Oh my God.
What is, she says, how did black women get it confused with, because I got good credit and a good job,
Right.
that I don't need you? You can, all that can be true. You got to, hell, let's come up together with your good
Exactly.
credit.
See, now, D, you've known me since high school.
Yeah.
I have never dated I'm not saying I wouldn't, but I know I love me some black women. But I'm telling you.
Right on.
But I'm telling you, Becky with the good hair, I mean, I'm getting to a point to where it's like, I don't want to fight and argue. I'm not into all that.
Let me tell you something.
Go
I
ahead.
ain't got to tell you that as a man.
Well, other than your little sister who owes me, I think that'll work out fine. I gotta go down
Most black men, and no shade to any other woman out there, most black men will tell you that they've had issues with white women.
Oh, of course,
Asian women,
absolutely.
Mexican women, but you know, black women get stuck with that stigma of you're unruly.
Well,
now, I would be lying.
Look at but look at the media, how they portray it. The mean, loud.
I would be lying
black
to say that that's not true for some black
Right.
women.
Not all.
But to
Not
your
all.
point, when that's all there is about black women in the media.
Sure.
You know, Atlanta housewives.
Yeah, oh my God.
The midget housewives. And they're all just loud and boisterous.
Oh
and
my
fighting
God.
with
And it's not
grown
real.
women.
It's
Right.
not real. Those people are not millionaires. What? They make $40,000.
They're struggling. They're probably broke
yeah.
because they're trying to make you and us to believe.
Yeah, Club
I
Cherie
don't
or
watch
whatever.
it,
It's-
right. But
oh,
they're trying to make us believe the facade that they're balling out of control.
Yeah,
like,
they're
I
not.
can afford this.
And
Bentley.
wait. And then ask yourself, young ladies out there, when you watch, here's what I got of Atlanta Housewives. What did they have to offer? Themselves.
Well, and none of them were really even married.
Right. Well, we know that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, though, at the end of the day, what did they bring to the relationship or to the? It's all about, I've got nice titties.
And
I've
a
got
whole
nice
lot of
butt.
makeup on it,
Yeah,
yeah.
I got the different weaves in. They objectified even themselves. I'm like, is
Right.
that all you're bringing to the table?
That's it. You know, we'll put that on the television show and call
Yeah.
it. And I mean, Atlanta Housewives is the #1 Atlanta housewife or housewife
franchise.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. The ratchetness of it. All you got is fake titties. Who that? Portia Williams, dumb as a rock.
Right.
She went and got boob job and all this other stuff. You're just thinking, okay, well, what do you do for a living?
So, if you are any other race and you're seeing black women act like that on television, and God forbid you go into a Winco and you see, you know, whoever turning up in aisle 9.
Right, twerking in aisle 9.
Right, or talking crazy to the kids. Now, that's not all black women.
No,
But
no.
they've seen it on TV.
Yeah.
So they're in Winco and they see black women act like that. So what conclusion do they draw?
Right.
All black women must act like
Right.
that.
Right.
You know?
And it breaks my heart when I see that, because I know I have a lot of friends and beautiful black friends. I mean, you know, you're another example of a friend that I have that ain't nowhere near that stereotype.
But I get pegged with that sometimes because me, you hear I speak, I'm very passionate when I speak.
Right.
I just always have been, but sometimes people think I'm angry.
Angry. Yes,
Like,
you're
no,
angry.
you ain't seen me when I'm
Yeah,
angry.
yes,
you know?
exactly. I've heard stories,
Right,
but
which I never like to be. You know,
Right,
I don't think
right.
there's room to be angry.
well, the
but-
thing is, you know, when you're having a conversation and it's an intelligent conversation, not many people can hold an intelligent conversation
Right.
without getting mad.
Right. I spent some time with my father today, and you know he's very insightful. Just always imparts wisdom and knowledge on me every time I'm talking with him. And he says people oftentimes try to defend what they don't know.
Right.
And I asked the question on
Right.
Facebook: how do you defend something you
don't
don't
know.
know? But people will try to do it because
Right.
they're ignorant, not trying to be mean, but they're just ignorant. They don't know what they don't know.
Right.
But they'll still try to defend it instead of saying, well, teach me.
Did you see that post I put up about the WTC 7 building?
I didn't see that.
In free fall, I said,
yes, I did.
in free fall.
Uh-huh.
All I debated, I don't care what the news, fake news, this,
Oh, yeah,
that. I don't
saw
care
that
nothing
too,
about
yeah.
that. I don't care anything about
well,
that.
you notice who came to who tried to rebut what you were saying.
Right.
Right.
But you see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like physics is physics. A building doesn't fall at free fall speed unless it has no support. Because a building, any kind of building, if it hasn't been
Right.
demolized, there's going to be resistance.
And I think it's fair to say if anybody knows logistics and
Right.
stuff like that, I
Right.
don't even know what you call it, it's
Right.
you.
Right.
But because you posted up, you got all these people trying to come debunk you.
Right.
You know, and my dad always says this too: it's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
It's what you can prove.
So you proved it, and it's like, now what?
Now what?
But you have those people who are going to try to defend
Every
what they
time.
don't know.
Every time. Every time. And, you know, and then they try to throw you a curveball like, oh, well, that's fake. I ain't talking about the news. I'm talking about, does a building, does a building fall at free fall? And if it doesn't, then it's a controlled demolition.
There's been many of experts who have
engineers,
not a dog in the fight, who has said there is no way this was some airplanes that did this.
No, the airplane didn't even hit that building.
Right.
And it fell.
Right, so it's like...
And there's not enough heat generated from office furniture to burn steel.
Again, you people are defending what they don't know.
I'm just trying to use common sense on that.
Well,
and even if a plane hits it, kerosene does not burn hot enough to melt steel.
Right. Well, you know.
Yeah. So I can go on and on and on. Yeah, I can go on and on. I'm just dealing with common sense stuff. But anyway.
Right.
But they want to bring in, this and that and that. No. We're talking just physics. Just either the law of physics didn't work that day,
right,
or something else is going on.
And you know, sometimes I have to tell people too, because I rarely like to say stuff, especially on social media, that I don't have any proof. But I'm like, listen, I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not gonna argue with you. My famous motto is, listen, I'm just trying to give you advice. I'm not trying to change your mind.
Right.
What you do it is on you.
Right.
You know, but stop coming to me trying to argue me your point. Listen, I don't even want to do that.
Right. And I'm not here to change your mind. You're not here. You're not going to change my mind. But here's my opinion. Just respect it.
Exactly.
Like I said, if you're a Republican, Trump's the greatest guy. Okay.
To you, he is.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Obama destroyed this country. Okay.
To you, he did.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm not even going to try to change your mind. You know?
Yeah. Okay.
So, no, absolutely.
So, like I said, with this show, I really think that we need to plug it into your show, because there are people that listen and they need a different perspective of loving themselves. You don't need a fake. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I like some double D's. Don't get me wrong. My last wife.
You just don't want them to feel like some double bricks.
Yeah, I watched that show, Botched. Oh my God! And you see some of the most beautiful people there.
They're in pursuit of perfection. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm 46 years old. Yes, I could go, as Dolly Parton would say, go get it sucked and tucked.
Right.
I could do all of that, but why?
Why?
I love myself. Listen, I got stretch marks, people. I got a few rolls.
Well, then you get
all of that.
But then you got to think about this. No surgery goes without complication. What if they mess it up to where, look at all these stars that Priscilla Presley. I mean, she looks like a mummy.
But damn, she is kind of up. She's like, I ain't going quietly.
Right.
Okay?
Do you see what I'm saying? Or Michael Jackson, he did it so much to where they're just...
It's here. It's a mental thing.
God.
Mentally, they're not happy. No knowledge of self. No love of self.
Right. I mean, I pat myself on the back. I was at my nephew's basketball game, and I was talking to one of my ex-players' sister. She goes to Arizona State, and she, we're sitting there talking, and I said something about, she's like 23 years old, and I said, my son's a couple years older than you. She goes, your son? I said, yeah, my son. And she goes, how old are you? And her mother comes like, yeah, how old are you? I said, I'm 47 years old.
45.
Yeah, but they thought I was in my early 30s.
Right.
And I always ask this question, because I get that question all the time. Even when I went back home, my aunts were like, damn, Donovan, you look young. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to look like at 47?
I'm going to tell you what you're supposed to look like.
Beat down.
You know, me and you follow the hip-hop scene a lot,
right.
And we're seeing a lot of these legends dying in their early 40s, late 30s.
Guy from Two Live Crew, the Asian black guy.
I think he was in his young 50s, but 50 is
young 50.
I'll be 50 in 4 years.
Right.
So that's young. So to your point, what are you supposed to look like? You're supposed to look like a Mack truck dragged you through 50 states and back.
Yeah. Or I had a candle, and I burnt it at both ends.
Drinking some 40s.
Right.
And that's what you're supposed to look like. Because honestly, listen, I'm not trying to talk bad about people, but there's a lot of people our age. I don't know if you've seen some of the people you went to high school with.
I have.
Like, that?
No, you got to play it off. No, there were some people that were so swollen, they were unrecognizable to me. I was
just been through the stuff.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I'm very sure I wasn't recognizable to a lot of people, because when I went to high school, I had my Jerry curl and stuff. So they're looking for the Jerry curl. I was like, no, it's been 30 years, and I got the bald spot now. So, but I'm just thinking, what are you supposed to look like at that age?
Hell.
And when you look at some of these young girls, there are some girls, I mean, Dee, you put some of these young girls that are in their 20s.
Well, I'm running 5 miles a day, but I got to.
a lot of people are now going vegan too. We need to start talking about that on the show. Eating better and getting a better diet, because people are dying young, like you said. They're finding all this pesticide. Trump is trying to do away with the FDA and all that other good stuff.
Like, I'm killing y'all. I'm killing all y'all.
He's going to kill everybody. So, we have to start talking about that, because when I hate going to the Winco on the 1st, and I see these people, of course, they have food stamps, which is okay. If you need it, you need it. Give me some. Right, give me some.
Okay.
All I want is 100. 100 to do me great.
You know what I could do with it? I'm a vegan. What I could do with $100?
Exactly. But you look at their basket, and it's full of top ramen.
Full of, I'm going to keep it real with you, it's full of shit.
Shit, right.
And I see that a lot. I'm like there's no green, there's nothing.
No leaves, it's sad.
Then
the kid has high blood pressure, and
sick, and then
the mom's face is all bloated, and this girl's only 24 years old, and you're thinking, oh my God. But she's got the tattoos on her leg all the way down.
We definitely do need to talk about diet. Because loving the skin I'm in.
That's part of it.
If you love yourself, you will not eat a lot of crap. I mean, I'm not saying I eat perfect. I don't.
No.
But there's just certain things. Like,
put it like this:
I would never eat a Twinkie.
Yeah, when Dee offers me food, I always pass, because it's healthy food, and I just can't deal with that. So it's not good for me. So and good thing about Dee, though, if you ever go on a date with her, hey, salad and a glass of water, and she's fine.
And maybe some French fries.
Yeah, every now and then. So, but we got to start talking about that, because and that's what we're trying to do, to give people a different perspective. We're just giving you our opinion, give you a different perspective of how to maybe think about this, because a lot of people, we don't think about it. When you go to these people and you say, hey, no, I vote for the president though. Hillary. Well, why would you vote for Hillary? She's a woman, okay?
Right.
What's she going to do for you?
Not a damn thing.
She's great. Well, do you know that Hillary was part of the mass incarceration of black people in the 90s?
And she thought Mary Sanger was a great, awesome woman. Mary Sanger was one of the engineers behind the eugenics program that said that poor people and people of color should not occupy society. To exterminate them, is what she said.
See, and that's what I'm saying. Knowledge, like you said, knowledge of self, and that's why we started this show. And loving yourself. You do not need to buy a booty or what,
Buy a booty?
No,
Booty Mart. Let's go to Booty Mart.
There's actual videos of young girls dumpster diving for weaves.
I saw that.
And
you know what they didn't know is that the weave was bad, because
right.
it got rained on,
right?
Or something
and it's got
wet.
Maggots in it and stuff like that. And then you've got and people
dumpster diving.
No, I'm serious. A lot of people don't believe it, but it's true. It is true. You have young girls in the South, especially in Houston, that are in jail right now for theft of weave.
I don't know how much.
And it ain't like they got like 90 days. They're black, so guess what they got?
Right.
The max.
I don't know how much time we have, but there's not. I'd rather, and I've said this before, I would rather go bald.
Right.
And then it's for this reason here, because we know that. And listen, I'm not talking bad about any other race, but we know that Asians have a monopoly on the black hair market. As of late,
$14 billion a year.
And as of late, we have seen Asian people, treat black women not so nice. One incident we saw, an Asian shop owner in North Carolina.
Yes.
He thought the lady stole some $2.99 eyelashes.
And held her.
He more than held her. He put her in a headlock. He was choking her, kicked her, drug her down to the ground, and his wife was also in on the action.
Right.
Yeah, people saying you're choking her, she can't breathe. Turns out she didn't steal the eyelashes. But he felt like he was going to kill her over some eyelashes that she didn't steal. So why would I rather go bald? I would rather go bald than to go into any of their shops and give them one penny of mine, and you treat my fellow sister like that. Now, I've seen there's a group out in Chicago called New Era Chicago. They have been boycotting. They have the store in North Carolina has a store in Chicago. They've been boycotting for over 100, maybe 120 something days now. Do you know why they're out there telling people not to go in the shop? That you see black women going in there anyway. Now they're holding up signs. So they actually have a picture of the shop owner choking the lady out, and they're saying, "Sisters, don't go in there. Beautiful black women. I'm just going in there real quick." And I'm like, how dead do you have to be to go in there and give those people your money? They don't give a damn about you.
This goes back to what we started at the top of the hour. R. Kelly peeing on a young girl, and you had people, young girls and older women, talking about, I don't care, I love his music.
I love me some R. Kelly.
Right.
So there you have it. There you have it.
Dead.
It's sad, and you know, I don't think it's all bad for black people. I do think that we are waking up. Marcus Garvey did say this, though, when he was trying to get people to go back to Africa. Black people, he says, and I'm paraphrasing, no doubt there are some black people who are no good here and they will be no good over there. So basically, we're not going to be able to save everybody. Let's focus on the people who are like-minded and who want to go and do better.
Right.
So there are people who are working toward that goal. So it's not all, bad. But it's a slow process. Yes. We are waking up.
Now, I want to say something for those bougie black people like myself.
But can we break down the term bougie? Because I
break it down.
Hate when people say, I'm bougie.
Well, break
I'm
it down.
bad and bougie. Okay, first of all, and nobody that we know and the people that they know have probably never been in the room with anybody who is from the bourgeoisie class.
Right.
Because those people don't mix and mingle with us.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So you're absolutely right.
People have taken the term and called it bougie. Meaning I'm better and I'm so finicky.
I'm ghetto fabulous.
Right, and I don't just eat anything. No, that's ghetto. That's not bougie. If you really knew what that meant, you would not be misusing that word because you are far from the bourgeoisie class. But that gives people this false sense of entitlement it's a false sense of entitlement to behave badly. That's all that is. Right. So people need to get familiar with that. It's why can't we just be decent people? Why can't we do the right thing and just be, not saying that we're bad, but just why do we always gotta ascribe to negative stereotypes? I'm bad and bougie, or I'm a bad bitch. Like, why would you?
Oh my God, the word. Oh my God.
Liken yourself to a dog.
Loving the skin you're in.
I'm a bad bitch. I am are two of the most powerful words on the planet, and what you attach to it, you also become. So you saying I'm a bad bitch. You look up the word bitch, that's not a good thing. They liken a female dog to a bitch.
Right, exactly.
So that's what you're likening yourself to, but you're trying to make, as my daughter would say, you're trying to make fetch happen. Or the slow clap. Remember in the 80s movies? Yeah. You're trying to make it happen. But that's there's nothing good about being a bad bitch. I think Amber Rose has a book, I'm a bad bitch. You have all these stars and women calling themselves bitches. And so then I work at an after school program, occasionally or whatever, and I hear the young girls in junior high calling themselves bitches.
Where are they getting that from?
They're getting it from their mamas. Their immediate circle of influence. They're getting that from them. I know we got to go, but I'm talking to a young girl. Actually, I heard her and her friends calling each other bitches. And I said, stop calling each other bitches. I said, why are you doing that? And she says, well,
shut up, old lady.
No, she's like, well, that's her name. I said, that's not her name. I said, what is her name? So she told me her name. I said, do you hear your mother talk like that? She says, oh, yes. So my mom talks to me like that. She'd be like, bitch, I know you don't think I'm going to buy you that. Bitch, you must have lost your mind. I was like, sad. Now, these are 12-year-olds.
12-year-olds.
12-year-olds. I would rather cut my tongue out than to call my daughter a bitch. Right. But that's normal now.
Normal.
They call your child a bitch.
And that's exactly why we started this show, so that we can give these people a different perspective, our people, a different perspective of loving themselves. And for those people that are bougie, I want you to check your 401ks, since you guys have made it, okay? And you're going to find in that 401k, you are supporting the prison industrial complex. Check it out. I found out that I dropped that stock as soon as I found out. So that's a little bit of information I want to put out there, because if you don't know what's going on, you're part of the problem, not the solution. So as we go out, D, you got anything going? Anything happening in the week?
Yes, I have a lot of things actually going. Pick one. I'm actually in the middle of opening up a business that I will share once I get it off the ground. And
you need an investor?
I might. But I'm also in the process of revamping the polish, where I show people how to develop a message and teach them how to deliver it to the right audience. And that goes for anybody, no matter what you do. If you speak publicly, you want to deliver your message, that's what I do. So I'm in the process of getting that back off the ground. Honestly, I had gotten a little discouraged just dealing with, certain people.
Sure.
And so I had to reevaluate what it is I need to do to make sure that I appeal to the right audience.
Right. Absolutely. I heard that. Well, like I said, this is Loving the Skin. I'm Andy. You know, she's going to pop in from time to time because she does provide the money. So, hey, check us out. Again, we're going to try to plug into your show on Sundays. Sundays, 3 o'clock, Demetra Coulter. Look her up. She's there. If not, just check out the Hot Seat, and we're going to put her show up there as well. You can link into it. We'll see you guys next week.